Race 3 of the Michelin Le Mans Cup Series, and it is the big one. Road to Le Mans. It is Saturday morning at the Circuit de la Sarthe. The track has been open since 1923 for the world's greatest endurance motor race, and the full Le Mans circuit awaits the drivers in Road to Le Mans. This is the second race of the double race weekend after overcast conditions for the first race. This Saturday morning feast of endurance is going to start with a bright sunny day. Track temperature shown as 17, that's in the shade of the pit lane, Karun Chandok. Before morning warm-up for the World Endurance cars, it was already 24 degrees track temperature. These are the hottest conditions we've had. It's been a pretty dull week so far, but for these drivers who aspire to graduate to the big race, it's a great opportunity to see the track. Well, let's take a look at what happened in the first race of the weekend. This was on Thursday afternoon. Well, grey and overcast after two qualifying sessions, everybody eager to get on with the action. Thursday's race counts for points the same as this morning's. And they're gridded up beside the Alain Prost karting facility here. Track that's held a number of kart world championships, and the massive field, 50 cars rolling away from the start. American team Euro International with pole sitter Mikkel Jensen of Denmark, his teammate Kevin Berlo. The LMP3 cars, the fastest of the group. Gt3 pole went to Giuseppe Perezzini and Marco Ciocci. Mikkel Jensen made a good start, but trouble for James Littlejohn in the first corner. In the number 2 Acuria Cross car, their race was over with a puncture. Giuseppe Perezzini, AF Corsa, 4 Le Mans 24-hour races under his belt. He was leading in the GT3 class early on. Then another Ferrari took over after 5 laps. Sergio Pianezzola in the Kessel Racing number 8 Ferrari, 7th in the field in qualifying, but leading in the GT3 race itself. It's a two-driver race, and for a lot of them, it's a first time here at Le Mans, and that inexperience was starting to show. And it's not just the lesser experienced drivers. WC drivers were throwing the cars off in qualifying as well. Mikkel Jensen, the race leader at Euro International. Pit stop for all of the cars between the 22nd and 32nd minute of the 55-minute race. But Mikkel Jensen, the race leader, coming into the pits, overshoots. That's a major loss of time. In the busy pit lane, very easy to do. Kevin Berlo in the car, the Dutch driver still leading as the GT3 leaders come in. Giacomo Puccini having to serve a 30-second stop-and-go penalty as the car violated a slow zone, and that meant the 71 AF Corsa car would be back in the lead. Marco Ciocci, the veteran, with a 46-second lead over Giacomo Puccini. Kevin Berlo leading the race for Euro International. The pole sitters out front, their closest rivals in qualifying, Tony Wells and James Littlejohn, out on lap 1. Sean Rahal won the Saturday race last year. The 33 United Autosports car closing down the leader in the final stages. But last year's LMP3 champions could not catch the Euro International car. Race 1 win going to Kevin Berlo and Mikkel Jensen. GT3 victory, Marco Ciocci and Giuseppe Perezzini for AF Corsa. Marto Ferrari's crew again producing the goods. Third place, Jens Pedersen, Leonard Hogenboom for DKR Engineering. In second, United Autosports American duo, John Falp and Sean Rahal, winners of race 1 here last year and winners of the title. But the first win here at Le Mans goes to Euro International's Danish-Dutch duo, Mikkel Jensen and Kay van Berlo. Well, that was their chance to shine on the Le Mans podium on Thursday. In GT3, third went to Claudio Schiavone and Andrea Puccini for Kessel Racing. Second, another Kessel Racing Ferrari, Sergio Pianezzola and Giacomo Puccini after their drive-through, while Marco Ciocci and Giuseppe Perezzini claimed victory in the 71 AF Corsa car. Well, there are your happy GT3 podium finishers. The overall result, Euro International, United and DKR. M Racing Weimar just missing out on the podium. They had good races here last year. The 79-year Kyriakos Nielsen car in the top half dozen. AF Corsa leading a Ferrari 1-2-3 charge in the GT3 car field. And inside the top 20 of the 50-car entry, which shows you quite how high the rate of attrition was, particularly the charge of the 50 into the first corner, which cost us 2 or 3 of our expected front runners. DKR lead the standings by 24 points now from the number 2 Kyriakos Nielsen car, which was out on lap 1, and Kessel Racing on top in the GT3 team's title race. So lots of action on Thursday and a jammed Circuit de la Sarthe this Saturday morning. Beautiful conditions. And Karan Chandok, the drivers, all these teams, these drivers, these engineers aspire to be in the big race. It's a great training ground. LMP3, LMP2, LMP1, there's the progression they want to follow.
Yeah, absolutely, Martin. And, you know, I drove the LMP3 car a couple of times last year. And it really was a fun car to drive. It's got a lot of downforce, not a lot of power, but that's exactly what people coming into driving a prototype need. You know, they need a car that's relatively easy to drive, because all of a sudden they're sitting low down, the perspective around them is completely different. And because it hasn't got a lot of power, but a lot of grip, it's confidence inspiring. And for the drivers who aren't particularly experienced, it's a great way, as you say, to train them up before they move on to higher categories.
Well, the grid is led by the number 39 Graf Racing entry of Eric Thuillier. He's the man on pole position, the red, white and blue Graf car. You can see it there, the French colours. Laurent Heur on the outside for CD Sport. Now, these are a new group of guys to the championship, and that's a really impressive qualifying run from them. Mikkel Jensen, Race 1 winner, starts third on the grid from Jens Pedersen, DKR Engineering's number 3 car, and that car was also on the Race 1 podium, as were the car that starts in 5th position, United Autosport's number 33 car, John Falb, starting in the dark blue car with the white and red highlights. He shares with Sean Rahal. Michael Benham for Lannon Racing, number 25. That's the red-nosed car behind, sort of the Toyota LMP1 colour scheme, if you like. There's number 3 DKR Engineering car, Jens Pedersen. And that car definitely in with a shout of victory. Now, a couple of the unfortunates from yesterday. M Racing Weimar's number 16 car is on row 6. The number 2 car, watch for that, Tony Wells and James Littlejohn. Tony Wells was in the top 3 in both races last year, didn't finish both of them. And James Littlejohn, his co-driver at Le Mans for the first time, got as far as the Dunlop curve in race 1, so they've got plenty to prove, but they qualified very strongly. Drivers' Championship, Jens Pedersen, Leonard Hogenboom are the points leaders, and they've now got a healthy advantage over Tony Wells and James Littlejohn, because the number 2 car scored nothing yesterday. Alistair McCaig and Colin Noble also failing to score, so getting the points on the board is going to be absolutely prime priority for those 2 Kyriakos cars that are now 2nd and 3rd in the championship. But with 50 cars, getting through the first corner, Karan, is never guaranteed, is it? No,
that's right. They're forming up now, the 2x2 formation. The guys in the safety car have given them the signal that we're about to go green, so it's really important to get this formation right. But as you say, Martin, getting through that last little chicane in a 2x2 formation isn't the easiest thing, especially when you've got to get a good exit, because the actual racing happens up the hill at the Dunlop chicane. Yeah, exactly. And if you're slow away out of the final chicane, then you're going to be swamped. If you're right at the front, that's the last thing you want. Number 8 Kessel Racing Ferrari, the blue car with the purple noseband there. That is the one that leads the GT3 field. Safety cars pulled off, and as soon as the lights on the gantry change, the charge of the 5,000 into the first corner will begin. Pole sitter on the right of our picture is not level. The number 30 car on the inside, the CD Sport car, already with an overlap as the lights change. CD Sport car does not respond well, but in the number 3 car, Jens Pedersen, started on row 2. He's also been jumped. The key here, though, is survival. You've got to get out of this corner in one piece. That's the second and third place cars have hit each other.
Yeah.
So I think there was a bit of contact there between teammates, and that's sent two cars off into the gravel. So just as you were saying, it needs to be nice and clean at turn one.
But no matter how many places you lose, being really cautious into turn one, it's fewer than if you're in the gravel trap or you've lost a tyre. So Euro International, yesterday's winners, the number 11 black car, you saw it in the gravel, and the Graf Racing engine of Eric Thuillier, the pole sitter, that is also off. So our first and third place cars, and somebody down there on the runoff, or basically 2 wheels over onto the hard shoulder of the road to Tours.
Look, you can see the slipstream here. Oh, 3 wide into the chicane. This is, Martin, look here, we're going 3 wide on the entry.
Oh, but right in the middle, the red and white number 20 car just got away with that. That's the DB Autosport car of Nicolas Molini and Jean-Ludovic Foubert. And he was in the middle there, and the slipstream, the side slipstream, was sort of pulling him from one car to the other as it stuck and unstuck, and that could have been a very nasty first corner pile-up. CD Sports lead with Laurent Heur, that's the number 30 car. Second place, Lannon Racing, that's the number 25 car. Michael Benjamin second, 72 up to third place. That's a good start for the car that started. How far down did they start?
Sorry, there's some GT cars that collided there. We have with the cameras turned over, but there were 2 Ferraris there. You can see in the background.
So that's our pole sitter, the number 8 car that was second yesterday, and the winner. That's the AF Course, the 71 car that won. Kessel Racing was second, and there is another car. That looks like an LMP3 car. So the top 2 are out.
Wow.
From yesterday's race.
Yeah, he's out of the car, isn't he? So completely out of the race there. And that's...
That'll teach me to look down at my lead. Well, that's the Graf Racing. So that's the Graf number 40 car, because he survived the first corner, and he was right with the LMP3, with the GT3 leaders. So a Graf Racing driver, that must be from the number 40 car, because number 39 was already out at the first corner. So where does that leave us now? Where is the number 2 car? The Acura Kost-Nielsen cars, the 17th and 18th safety car coming out.
Yeah, I wonder if it's there's the number 40 there.
All right,
Martin.
okay.
So I think it's the number 38 Graf car and the number 39.
Yeah, maybe 30. Well,
37 and 39
was
maybe.
off at the first corner, so maybe he's now had to pull off at the chicane as well, because he'd have been right at the back of the field after that first corner ding. Safety car has missed the leader. So the CD Sport car got through before the safety car scrambled. There are 3 safety cars here at Le Mans. 1 leaves the pit exit, 1 on the second chicane of the Mulsanne Straight, and 1 comes on at Arnage.
It's the first chicane.
First chicane, you're right. So, so the one at Arnage, they scrambled, and he just didn't get away in front of the leader. But obviously the leader will now receive a radio message from the race director: slow down, let the safety car pull up in front of you.
Yeah, I hope that happens, because otherwise, if he's let off to go catch the next safety car, which would be the start-finish straight, he's effectively got a minute and a half. Now watch here, look for the 2 cars on the right, Martin, number 39, number 40, the 2 Graf Racing cars. I think they made contact. Watch the number 40 there, he's on the left-hand side, and as he comes up into the chicane, I think he's tapped his teammate. Yeah, there. Yeah. He's tapped his teammate, who's then pushed him into the Euro International, number 11. So, yeah, really... yeah, this is going to be a better angle. So the red, white and blue cars in the French colours on the right-hand side on the inside of the chicane. Now he's 4th, and there, look, that dive down there, bang. Contact, and that sent the other 2 cars into the gravel. See, racing driver eyes, you see things live that we only get to see in replay, but that's an Italian at Monza in a Ferrari, isn't it? This is a Frenchman at Le Mans in a French racing car. Yeah, here's the angle that we're actually going to see here. Watch, he's gone for the inside curve. That little contact at just the right, at the wrong point, I should say, has sent that, and then loads of people have had to cut the chicane in avoidance on the right-hand side. But I'm interested to see what happened down at this shunt, because we've got that Graf car there, which we're not sure if he's just happened to park up in the same place or he's got caught up in the same accident. But I certainly saw the 2 Ferraris hit each other under braking for the chicane.
Yeah. Well, that safety car is out, and the leader is being told to slow down, let the safety car catch him, which is understandable. You're certainly not going to let him get that far away. Well, that's what a flat spot does to a tyre. You just saw that big oval hole in the tyre. That's where it's locked up and it's just grounded away. Really. And there's the 71 AF Corsa car. He's got it back to the pit lane. You know, if they get the car back out, he's got a chance of getting some points. And in the end, that might be the difference between being champions and not being champions. And what did last year's Le Mans LMP1 race tell us? Never give up. That's why we saw a carcass of a tyre with a hole in it, because that's his carcass, and that is down at Arnage. So that's a long way to come back on the rim. Yeah, that's right. And you know, it's going to be doing damage to the suspension. You can see the front left. I think there's definitely suspension damage there. I don't know if they're going to get it fixed and out. Yeah, no, they've given it the universal signal of you're done. Yeah. So that's game over for the 71 car. That's unfortunate, really, for them, because as you say, in terms of the championship, this is obviously bad news for that driver pairing. Yeah, definitely. And the Euro International, in fact, our top two from yesterday's Thursday's LMP3 race are out of the equation as well. And that plays very well into the hands of the number 3 team, Jens Pedersen and Daniel Hogenboom, because they're the championship leaders already, having scored strongly ahead of the 2 Acuria Cos cars on Thursday, and they're now well placed to finish on the podium as well. The number 3 car is in 5th. The Acuria Cos cars are down in 17th and 18th. But I think, you know, with this safety car start, we're going to see some pretty mega slipstreaming again, aren't we? When we get green, we could lose another dozen, you're saying, at the Dunlop chicane. Yeah, I don't think we should really be talking about the championship points yet. There's still a little while to go. We'll see in a few moments, because they'll come up to the second chicane. Here we are, in fact, and one car out of the way, or being lifted out of the way. It's sort of tantalising, almost showing us the number. Exactly. Well, it's 65. I think that's the 65 Graf car, which has definitely not completed a lap. It's only got out of sector 2. So it's neither the 39 or the 40, both of which collided at the first corner. 39 is still has rejoined Eric Trier after that spin, but so it's the 65. It's their 3rd entry. So yeah, so out of the car and up in the air is Damien Delafos, and I think we saw Sergio Pazian on the headset looking very disgruntled. And the 2 GT3 cars are still there, aren't they? So the safety car will remain out at least until the end of this lap. Well, the AF Cos car made it back to the pits. Oh, correct. So, so the Kessel car is still there. So yeah, as you say, we're probably looking at another lap at least, aren't we? So leading GT3 all the way back there somewhere is single-seater ace turned sports car racer turned touring car racer Frederick Vervisch. I don't think he does World Rallycross, but he's basically got a finger in almost every other World Championship pie. And he is in the 54 Spirit Race Ferrari. He is leading the GT3 class. And that car is also, well, it's a Ferrari, it's red with silvery white stripes on. So the first Ferrari in your frame is the leader in GT3. Wherever he comes in, you can see him way back there weaving. That's the car that leads in GT3. Second is the number 88 Ebby Motors car, and that's being run under the banner of Dempsey Proton Racing. You saw their garage. 54 Spirit of Race Ferrari is still going, and that is that's the 54 is the leader. So that's the green one with the white roof. In fact, the timing screen has just jumped the number 69 Stila F Squadra Corsa Ferrari up to 2nd place. That's a black car. So yeah, I raced against Frederick Vervisch back in World Series in 2005 for a couple of races till I ran out of money. But yeah, no, good driver. You know, good driver, and there is the 65 car. So there you go. It confirms what you were talking about before, when they were sort of half showing us the numbers. Tantalising glimpse, yes. Yeah. Okay, here's that replay. Now watch the Kessel car come down the inside. He's made a late lunge. I think he's misjudged his braking. And it's completely his misjudgment there. He's gone for a last-minute lunge. I think, you know, on lap 1, you get a Constantina effect in the braking zone, and he's misjudged just how early everyone's brake. Got on the inside,
had a wobble, lost the back end, and then hit the... So it's unfortunate.
So do you think that was just avoidance? He's gone, oh, and swerved to the left to try and avoid ramming the car from behind, and in the end, rammed him from the side.
Yeah, but I think because he avoided, went left, he had two wheels off the actual track on the less grippy part.
Yeah.
And then that's locked up and sent him to the right.
Yeah.
So, you know, the Graf car, completely the innocent victim, the 65, and actually the AF Cos car as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Totally the innocent victim in that accident. So, yeah, real shame there that the Kessel car, Pianizola, I think was, just misjudged the braking there.
Just called out. And as you say, probably the car in front of him was braking a fraction early because the car in front of him was braking a fraction early. It's that motorway stack-up thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, in the first lap of the race, you have to have that self-awareness as a driver that everyone is going to be braking early because you're all in a pack, you're all in a bunch. Yeah. Races aren't won on the first lap, but they're certainly lost on the first lap, as these guys have found out. You know, especially when you're, you know, in endurance racing, you're not looking at a 20-minute Formula 3 sprint race here. You're looking, even this, it's not a 24-hour race, but it's still a 1-hour race, and you need to be in it to win it at the end.
Absolutely right. Well, pit lane not yet open between the 22nd and 32nd minute of the race, which means I have to subtract because we started at 50 minutes and now we've got 43 left.
55, wasn't it?
55 minutes, so we've got 43, so we're 12 in, so we've got another 10 minutes. So when it comes down to 20, oh yes, there's another clock on the screen Karan helpfully points out that shows us the actual time. So we're 11 and a half minutes in. We've had almost a lap of green flag racing.
Yeah, but we got all the leaders all now behind the one safety car, so the number 30 has backed off and got himself into that queue as well. Hopefully we'll get green fairly soon, Martin, because you know, it's a long lap here at Le Mans under the safety car. They're doing 7.5-minute laps, or 7-minute laps under the safety car, so you know, that's a fair amount of time for those marshals and the diggers there to try and pick that Kessel Ferrari out. We could see they already got the number 65 Graf LMP3 out of the way, and now they've just got to try and get that Kessel Ferrari, which is a big car to lift. I'll be honest, it is.
They've got this new system on the cranes where they have locking points on the roof that you plug in, and all these cranes have a bar with the system, so you don't have to open the door and put a strap through or anything else.
Yep.
Bang, you lift it up, and actually, it's by far, instead of dragging stuff out, which obviously brings gravel with it, the Manitou lifts the thing off the ground, and away they go. So by the time we get to the line, we should be ready to go green again.
Yeah, and don't forget, we don't need to actually get back to the start-finish line. They can go green at any of the safety car lines as well. So, you know, this safety car could pull in at Arnage, or it could pull in at the second chicane, sorry, at the first chicane. So we'll just have to see how the things unfold. There's a bit of muck on the. Are they leaves or that stones or gravel there on the straight?
Actually, it does look like it's leaves. May have just come out of the tree.
That's not such a big problem then.
But the thing now is actually that if that safety car is going to pull off, he has to do it at Arnage, because otherwise there won't be a safety car at Arnage.
Yes.
So that's pretty much where he'll need to go off. But now I'm not sure where they'll switch the lights off on the safety car and whether they'll let them go green sort of halfway around the lap. That might be quite odd. What Eduardo Freitas, the race director, might be doing now is getting the other two safety cars on the track. So the one that's currently at a pit out will go round to the Mulsanne, and the one that's at the Mulsanne will follow the field round and park up at Arnage. And then this guy can then pull into the pit lane, so we'll then have one safety car in each position. Yeah,
it's not so straightforward because you've got the letters on the windscreen of the safety car, A, B, and C. Yes. So A has to be in the pit lane, B has to be at the chicane, and C has to be at Arnage. That is... you know,
so we might have to do another.
You know, but they've got internal rows to swap around, don't they? So it's not so much of a problem. But I think, you know, B will have to pull in at Arnage. So the lights need to go off now if they're going to go green. They haven't gone off, so I'm going to assume that you know it needs to be turned off before they get to the Mulsanne corner, which we're coming up to here.
So now what Eduardo could do is instigate a slow zone all the way back to the start-finish line to stop everybody charging off before they go green at the line. or not, you know, this is a sort of basket. I'm sure he's got a plan, but I don't think it's written down anywhere what the plan is if the only safety car in the race comes out from safety car B post. But you're right, yes, having it back at point B would be a lot easier for everybody to understand. Here's why we're under, well, it's not why we're under safety car, but that's where the leaders from yesterday's race went off, the Euro International 11 car that won it. And then...
Watch here, watch the left-hand wheels. He's got the road slightly dips down, you know, when you get beyond that white line. It's less grip, obviously, but it's also a slightly different level. There's a bit of a step. And I think the Kessel car, when he got on the brakes, the back started to wobble around.
Yeah.
And he was probably, you know, gonna have the accident on his own anyway, or even if nobody was around, he was gonna go across the gravel. It's unfortunate that he took out those other two cars. He would have actually been better off, wouldn't he, going left?
Yeah.
And sort of, you know, avoiding other cars. And okay, he might have had the accident on his own, but at least he only takes himself out and not two other people. Yeah,
the only problem is, of course, it's in such a packed field of cars. You know, there's always going to be somebody else involved on the opening lap.
Yeah.
But you're right. Yeah, we saw in qualifying, you can have a big enough accident on your own with nobody else around just by dropping a wheel off, and that's definitely what happened there.
But that's what's good about Le Mans as a circuit. You know, it's an unforgiving challenge, and that's what you get a buzz from it. And safety car is coming in on this lap. We've got confirmation on the timing screen, and there you are at the bottom of your television screen as well, or your iPad, wherever you're watching it. But you know, that is the magic of Le Mans. You look at the brown bit, or the slightly red bit there to the right of our TV screen, and that's, you know, it's mucky and it's gravelly and it's lower grip, and it gives you a little bit of wiggle room, but it's not like, you know, I think circuits like Spa, for example, now are sort of ruined in a way with all this tarmac. You know, at Eau Rouge now, you've got all this tarmac down. It's taken away some of the driving challenge of it because there's a get-out-of-jail card. Whereas Le Mans, look at where the barriers are there at the Porsche curve. And that's what makes it a unique challenge for the drivers.
And the other thing, of course, is the track layout has remained the same pretty much since, you know, since the end of World War II. And you are racing on the track that all the greats raced on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you know, that you're part of that history.
Yeah, so there's a bit of gamesmanship going on with the safety car. This is safety car B, as I mentioned. So,
well, the lights are off, so
yeah,
we are going green at the line.
If we were in the main race, this safety car would pull in further on the lap. Yeah, okay, he's pulling in now here at the start finish line. Okay, and we're going.
Yep, so away goes the leader, Lawrence Hoare. And right behind him, the Lannon racing car, Michael Benham in second place, closed right up as the leader sprinted up towards the Ford chicane, but then got dropped as he dropped the hammer and away he went. TFT SO24 in third place, the number 72 car, and that car started way down the order in 10th. So Maxime Robin avoided all the tomfoolery first time through here. He obviously coated the car in butter at breakfast time and he slipped through. And there's the Lannon racing car under pressure for second place. The leader is gone, though, Karun. He really made a great restart.
Yeah, he's been really on it, hasn't he? In the whole, even in the first start. We've got a yellow flag, so somebody's had an incident
at Dunlop.
And we'll have a look. I imagine there's a bit of argy-bargy at the chicane. But yeah, that number 30 car, even in the first start, he'd broken away and he'd broken the slip. And the critical thing is, in these P3 cars, because they don't have a lot of power, if you can break the slipstream, you've got an immediate advantage. Whereas these guys, they're all in that slipstreaming battle, and they're going to spend the next 36 minutes running nose to tail. But here he comes down the inside, number 3, Peterson there in the DKR Engineering, a great outbraking maneuver. But now you've got the chance to reverse it as well, because you get another slipstream. But jump start.
Yeah, and that's the number 60 CD Sport car, the leader's teammate. That's the car in 4th place, who's just been passed by the Peterson car. So he's down to 5th and 2 wide behind. So the Lannon Racing number 5 car, 25 car, Michael Benham is moving away in 2nd place. Then Maxime Robin in 3rd. Jens Petersen now up to 4th. And up the inside comes the number 19, that's Julien Lahaye in the Ultimate Motorsport, the red car. So he too puts a move in on the number 60 car. Battle for 7th is the 79 Kyriakos Nielsen machine, leading that group. And that is Colin Noble. Colin Noble and Tony Wells raced together last year. They're in different cars from the same team this year. And he's out of the slipstream on the inside, but he's made the move.
The number 60, he's backed out of it,
yeah.
Martin. He's completely... I don't know if he's just lost interest now that he's got that drive-through penalty, but Julien Piquet is just letting people by.
I wonder if he's got a little bit of an issue as well, but either way, he might have jumped the start because he has a clutch problem, and that might also be helping him, giving him the benefit of the doubt, because we saw him also getting passed easily by Marvin Klein in the 27 Cool Racing car.
Yeah, he's got a rolling start though, so I'm not sure that sure that the clutch issue is going to give him that excuse on the jump start. Oh, this is going to be
good pass.
It's a good pass, isn't it?
It's
into
a
Indianapolis.
Really good pass, yeah. Younger brother of Mathieu, in fact, it's Mathieu Ley's dad, isn't it? Jean-Baptiste Ley in the number 19 Ultimate Racing car. So he is now up to, ahead of DKR, into 4th place. The leader is gone, so the red-nosed car you're seeing is second. So second, third, fourth now for Jean-Baptiste Ley.
Yeah, there's lots of slipstreaming up into the Porsche curves as well. You've got to have a lot of momentum to try and pass somebody into the Porsche curves. You can see, I think there's a United Autosport car there. Yeah, yeah, that's the number 60. He's definitely got a problem, isn't he, Julien Piquet? He's really backed out of it, and this is
backing everybody up there as well.
Yeah, and at the Porsche curves, this is not ideal. You know, if he's got a problem, either he needs to fully get off the line and get out of the way. Yeah. Because here, look at already in those 3 corners how much the United car has broken away from this pack, and it's a bit unfair to the car. Oh, people running very wide there.
Yeah. Bit of desperation falling in. John Falk got through in the United Autosports car, but everybody else, well, the 60 car now pulls into the pit lane, but there's a 5-car bottleneck right behind. Number 20 DB Autosport car is the leader of that little group. I think anybody who's looking at policing track limits might have quite a few victims in that group. CD Sports' Lawrence Hoare leads with 22 minutes in, so the pit window is open, and the second-placed Lannon Racing car, Michael Benham, almost overcooked it there, through across the runoff area when Colin Noble in 79. He's almost got a run going down the inside of the DKR Engineering orange and black car of Jens Petersen, but didn't get through. And somehow Michael Benham held on there by the skin of his teeth.
I think we're going to see some good slipstreaming here, Martin. As they come through Tête Rouge, second, third, and fourth, absolutely nose to tail. The leader's gone. 9.7 seconds. He's made 7 seconds in that last lap. So tremendous pace up at the front. We've got a pit stop here for...
Now this is Eric Trier in the 39 Graf Racing car that was spun round on the opening lap. So he's making his pit stop early.
And that's a smart move, because if we get another safety car, he's already done his stop. And these guys will lose out because he will gain track position. So
and it'll take them forever to get round to the pit lane to do their stop. Exactly right.
But also because he's anyway out of contention, been spun round. It's worth taking a gamble. It's the sort of stuff we see in IndyCar racing, isn't it? Where people try and run off strategy and just sort of hope for a safety car. But meanwhile, up on track, it's a great battle in that second all the way down.
Yeah, Lannon Racing, Jean-Baptiste Lehey in the red Ultimate car is right behind the red and white number 25. And Jean-Baptiste Lehey, who started in 12th, has made huge progress. Lunge down the inside from the 79.
That was never going to happen.
Contact with the number 3 car. Yeah, that was ill-judged, I'm afraid, by Colin Noble.
Yeah, that was a late lunge, and it was one that was never really looked like it was going to happen. But now, I was thinking about safety cars. I wonder what's going to happen here. But we got a great battle down into Mulsanne corner, going through the kink, and the number 25 card,
that's Lannon Racing's Michael Benham.
He backed out of it.
Third. Well, Jean-Baptiste Lehey was inside him all the way out of the second chicane. He was never going to break early, was he?
No, but I thought that Michael Benham gave it up a bit too easily, really, because I think he would have been better off trying to get closer to him, force him to be tighter in, because then you can get a slipstream on the way out. And this long straight back to Indianapolis, you know, there's a chance to pass somebody back, because it's a really good slipstreaming opportunity here.
Now the number 3 DKR car just rejoined, but suddenly slowed down there. Another slow zone further back behind them, but the number 3 car suddenly slowed coming up to Indianapolis, and I wonder if he's got another problem after that collision with Colin Noble. So the number 3 car, Jens Pedersen, on the podium on Thursday in race 1, and we're now slow zone between the chicanes for some tidying up.
Well, that'll be for Colin Noble's car, won't it?
Yeah.
I imagine he's still beached in the gravel.
Also, Tony Wells in the unlucky number 2 Kyriakos Nielsen car that was knocked off in the first corner with his teammate at the wheel. So Tony Wells didn't get to drive on Thursday, and James Littlejohn did 1 corner, and now James Littlejohn won't get to drive because that car has also... Oh, no, it's pitted. So maybe that is actually a pit stop rather than it's pitted with damage.
Well, they're all starting to think about driver changes and pit stop. Yeah, we got quite a few cars coming in here, Martin. So
in number 40 Graf Racing car, Michael Benham came in the Lannon Racing number 25 as well. So this now makes this the battle for second, for third. No, Jean-Baptiste Lahaye came in, so this is the battle for second. So these guys staying out. There's a 10-minute window, Karun, so hopefully that's potentially 2 green flag laps.
Yeah, we got 4 out of the top 10 in the pits, but we got this great battle heading up into the Dunlop chicane. Interestingly, the leaders stayed out there, Martin. So the CD Sport car, despite the slow zone out on track, has elected to stay. I mean, he's got a 14-second lead, so he's quite comfy. That is not very good parking from the number 40 car, Dan Illiou there. He's sort of parked at a diagonal. That's... I imagine even people in the race director's office aren't going to be particularly happy. Duncan Tappy getting into the Lannon Racing car, so he's going to do the second part of the race. They're doing a tyre pressure adjustment on that car.
Well, the tyres will be a lot warmer now than they were coming around even after a formation lap, won't they? So you want to drop a little bit of pressure, perhaps just a pound or so. And there's Colin Wells' car being craned away.
Colin Noble.
Colin Noble, rather, yeah. And oh, so Tony Wells did go around in the number 2 car. Now, or is that James Littlejohn coming out of the pits? That's James Littlejohn coming out of the pits, gets tagged from behind. All sorts of deja vu there, because that's what happened to him on lap 1 of race 1. So a little bit of argy-bargy. We saw this when they're released behind the safety car.
Yeah, the rear suspension is broken as soon as he's made contact. And yeah, that was you know, you could see it happening, that he sort of lunged and you thought, that's not really a move that I think is on. And sure enough, he's gone into the other car. Duncan Tappy being held. They've got a minimum pit stop time, haven't they, in the LMP3 cars? So they've got to wait, and the engine's fired up, mechanics all holding the cars there. So that at least equalizes it across the board. What's going on here? The number 3 car, the lollipop's gone up, but the driver's not going anywhere.
No one's going anywhere.
Well, the United car is, so...
Off they go. Well, maybe the stopwatch... There's I don't know what's going on. See how busy the pit lane is. You know, pit garages now are barely, or the cars are as long as the pit garage is wide, let's say that. The pit garages haven't got narrower, but cars are generally getting bigger. So... if there's somebody in 1 or 2 garages just before yours, you almost never can get in square.
Yeah, I mean, we got 43 cars running, and 31 of them are pitted on that lap. So it's quite, you could see why it's quite a busy pit lane. Only 12 cars staying out on track, including the leader, interestingly. So Martin, they're looking at a 2-minute pit stop, with that minimum time that they've got. Most people are sort of at 2 minutes, 2-minute 1, 2-minute 2 ballpark. So what we need to look at now is where these cars feed out. Because, for example, the Lannon Racing car, he's now 2 minutes 13 to the leader.
Yeah.
And we'll have to see how that pans out, really, when the leader does pit.
Yeah. Well, these are our stopped cars. 31 DKR Engineering now with Lawrence Hogenbohm in, and just being passed by the DB Autosport number 21 car. And so that is their second driver, Nicholas Schatz, picking up a spot.
And the slow zone is now clear, by the way. So we're green all the way around the track. You see the marshals waving those green flags. So it's game on, and these guys are all free to overtake and free to race.
Now you're right, because the leaders will have lost all the way through that slow zone. That's going to cost them at least 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So they're the race leader, the number 30 car of Lawrence Hoare, and he is now behind a back marker.
Yeah, exactly that. So, we got car 24 and number 9 reported for speeding in the pit lane. So they're further down. It's both cool racing cars, actually.
Oh.
So the same team. So I wonder if there's been an issue with the way they've set the speed limiter or something. But both cars have been pinged down for speeding.
That's fair warning to the leader then, isn't it? If his two teammates have been pinged for speeding, he's going to have to be really cautious.
Yeah, I think the leaders with CD Sport,
Yeah.
So there's an issue here, isn't there?
Yeah, this is the third of the CD Sport cars. That's number 60 car.
The engine covered up, and that's certainly bad news. So here is the race leader, number 30.
Coming in, not coming in, yes, coming in, because there's we're 30 minutes and 24 seconds in, and it's a 4-minute lap basically for these cars, so he couldn't do another one and still pit within the window. So everybody who's not pitted, and that is a dozen cars, including the top 2 in GT3, will be in this lap. And the reason they may have stayed out is just to avoid all of the other cars being jammed in the pit lane.
Yeah, possibly, but now Anthony Pons is going to get in the car, and he's going to have the battle, the Graf car with Chiller,
Adrian Keeler, and Sean Rahal for United Autosports, Duncan Tappy, he's no slouch.
Yeah, going to have 3 quick drivers, and they're all actually, this is that battle here, we're looking at it. If they stop fighting with each other, they could actually get in the lead of this race.
And the other thing is, their out lap, this lap, is much quicker than the leaders. Not his in lap, but the previous lap where there was a slow zone, because there's no slow zone, so they're going to catch about 20 seconds off his 18-second advantage.
Yeah, the leaders made a mistake by not pitting. They should have pitted when the slow zone was out, and now it's going to be mighty close, because
this is our lead battle effectively. Adrian Keeler, number 40, Sean Rahal, United Autosports, a winner in the race last year, his first ever time at Le Mans. He and his teammate were so excited to be racing here and were just like bouncing around like rubber balls at the end of it. This is the lead now coming across the line, because the CD Sport of Lawrence Hoare is in the pits and the lead has changed.
Yeah, and as I said, the CD Sport car, that mistake by not pitting while the slow zone is out has cost them dearly. So this is now the battle for the win here, Martin, which is great, isn't it? We got 4 cars now.
Yep,
absolutely nose to tail, 22 minutes to go.
Absolutely. Graf Racing, red, white and blue, then United Autosports, red, white and blue, but for a different red, white and blue. Duncan Tappy in the Lannon racing car, that's the white fenders and the red nose. There goes the number 30 CD Sport car going out. Number of cars being investigated for speeds through the slow zone. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. But otherwise, as you say, this is our 4-car battle. Somebody's going to lose out here. Somebody's not going to be on the podium, aren't they?
Yeah.
Or possibly 2 or 3 of them might not, depending on how the passing works out.
Yeah, but I mean, these are all experienced professional drivers who've done a lot of racing, haven't they? So I think we're just going to hopefully be in for some clean, quality racing. And the number 19 car there, the ultimate racing car, in 4th place as well, just sitting in the slipstream, and they're all moving around and tracking each other to try and get that slipstream, which is going to be brilliant. I can tell you the CD Sport cars come out in 16th place, so by not pitting under that slow zone, they've cost them. And here's the move for the lead there. Yeah,
Sean Rahal pulls out of the slipstream down the inside, and Duncan Tappy in the number 25 car. I have to say, of the 4 here, he is the quote pro driver in this group, and I would be very surprised if he's not soon challenging for the lead. He's got the slipstream, he's got the toe on Adrian Keeler in the Graf Racing car, and expect to see him pop out of the slipstream. He does. Has he got enough momentum to pass down the inside? He's got a tiny overlap and the inside line. That's job done, isn't it?
Yeah, nice clean move there into Mulsanne corners. So now we got Sean Rahal with Duncan Tappy chasing him down. Keeler's slipping backwards, isn't he? He's not quite got the pace or experience, frankly, of the 2 guys ahead of him. So it's in a way sort of expected. Car number 69 has been caught speeding in the pit lane, so that's the Quadricorsa GT3 car.
Well, that was our leader in GT3 early on. Our current leader is the Spirit of Race Ferrari of Maurizio Mediani. That's the 51 car.
The ultimate car's up in the third place, Martin. So, as I said before, Keeler's slipping backwards here, but it should be, you know, as you said, Duncan Tappy now probably the most experienced and you know, shall we say, yeah, most experienced, I suppose, out of these top four.
Yeah.
And we should have a great little battle here for the lead. So, what we got 20 minutes. We got well, maybe a bit more. We got sort of 4 or 5 laps to go.
If they stay green. There's Maurizio Mediani. He's the GT3 leader, and as you can see, he's in the slipstream behind the number 30 car. There's the race leader and second place. So Sean Ray Hall ahead of Duncan Tappy. That's Ray Hall as opposed to Ray Hal. No relationship to Bobby Ray Hal. And the battle for third continues. Graf Racing versus Ultimate. The Ultimate car from 10th on the grid with Jean-Baptiste Lahaye, whose son Mathieu is a big single-seater star now turned endurance racer. Jean-Baptiste clearly no mean peddler. He got the car well up the order into the top 3. And has just, after the pit stop, his teammate has also jumped back up into the top 3, Francois Heriot. So he's got ahead of the Graf Racing entry of Adrien Keeler. Keeler, a regular podium finisher in Michelin Le Mans Cup races. That Graf Racing entry, the 39 and 49 and 40 cars, both very well crewed at Graf Racing. Graf Racing run a good ship as well. And the Ultimate Motorsport car looking for a podium here Saturday morning at Le Mans.
So the man on the move is actually the one not in the shot. It's the 5th place car there of
Nicholas
Schatz in the DB Autosport. Fastest lap. 3 seconds faster than the race leader last time around, Martin. So, and they are, what, he's now at 1.9 seconds. Sorry, 3.1 seconds off the lead 4. So Nicholas Schatz in the DB Autosport car could sneak onto the back of that leading train soon.
Well, our LMP3 championship leaders, DKR Engineering, Pedersen and Hogenboom, the number 3 car, after that contact, is still in the top half dozen. So Lawrence Hogenboom in 6th position. They're going to score again. The number 2 Acuria Cos car, after getting turned around with James Littlejohn in it, is down in 42nd place. So no points for the number 2 car in race 1. None will come in race 2. And the 79 Acuria Cos car, Colin Noble, that stopped after that collision with the number 3 car as well. Now the gap is coming down very gradually. John Falb and Sean Rahal, this is their 2nd season racing in the Michelin Le Mans Cup with United Autosports. They know the team, they know the car, they're now more familiar with the track after racing here last year. But Duncan Tappy is catching ever so slowly. 3/10 closer in the first sector on this lap. And Karun, he's now in a position where he's getting the help of the slipstream of the car in front. Yeah,
he is. You can see the difference there. He's 6 kilometers an hour faster in the speed trap, and that is just pure. You know, they've all got the same engine. They're both, you know, well, they're in different chassis actually, aren't they?
Ligier in front and a Norma behind.
Norma behind. So maybe slightly different drag levels, but that's 6K speed difference. I would bet a lot of it is from the slipstream.
Yeah. And in fact, Norma looking very strong here. It's the Ligier that leads. There's United Autosports team. But then Norma's are 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. The next Ligier is in 8th, then a Norma in 9th, and then a whole bunch of Ligiers behind them. There's John Falp on the right, watching his teammate Sean Rahal. Here's the battle for... What position is this for in GT3? This is 2nd and 3rd. The Spirit of Race 54 car. And the Kessel Racing car has just gone by, has it? That's 54 behind the turquoise car. So the 2nd Kessel Racing car has now moved up into 2nd place. That's now shown on our timing screen. That's Andrea Puccini. He's a former FIA GT race winner.
Yeah, Mediani in the lead, by the way, in this GT battle. 48 seconds ahead of this little battle here. So he's well clear and should be, barring any misfortune, should be well on his way to victory. Nicholas Schatz, by the way, Martin, another new fastest lap, and he's now only 7/10 behind the Graf Racing car with Killer in it. So we're watching the Gt3 battle for second place. It's not really a battle. The Kessel car is now pulled away.
Yeah.
But actually, I'd be quite keen to see what's happening up at the front, because the battle for third, fourth, fifth is about to get quite tight.
Yeah, that Kessel Racing Ferrari is flying away now from the Spirit race car. The race leader, by the way, in GT3 is 17th overall. These two are 33rd and 34th overall. Yep. So there's a lot of traffic in the way.
Yeah, the Ultimate car's had some mistakes there, Ben, because he's... Martin, he's...
Force of habit.
He forced a habit for Formula 1 there.
Very good. Yeah, no, he's dropped down to 6th, hasn't he?
Yeah, so Schatz is now up into that 4th place. I mentioned he was catching, but he's got past... and actually, no, the Ultimate car's lost, isn't it? Because he was ahead of the Graf car, so he was on the podium. He's fallen out. He's made a mistake somewhere, the number 19 car. This is the battle for the lead. Sean Rahal, kicks up the dirt. No, that's just in the middle of the track. Right behind him, Duncan Tappy. Adrian Keeler, 7.7 seconds behind this. But then Nicholas Schatz was 0.5, is now 0.2 behind. So the battle for third should come into our shot here. There's Adrian Keeler in third, red, white and blue, but 21, Nicholas Schatz right in the toe. He's going to go by this time, isn't he? And this is now for the final step on the podium. So this is a genuine battle here for podium honours, and he's got the slipstream and he's heading down into the first chicane. The track dips away there, a little bit of camber on the inside when you get on the brakes, and you've got the crown in the road as well. But Nicholas Schatz judges his braking really well, gets the move done. And actually, Keeler could be susceptible here to being slipstream on the next straight as well. Well, look at the driver's side. Underneath the blue wing, the bottom right-hand corner of the car, left hand as we look at it, has got damage there. So actually, that's not helping his speed in a straight line either. That'll be causing drag, bit of turbulence. And right behind him, the championship leaders, Lawrence Hogenboom. And these guys had a near 40-point advantage starting the race over the two Kyrgios cars, and that is going to increase again, because whatever else happens, unless he miscues here, it'll be points somewhere in the top 5, likely in 4th place. Yeah, Hogenboom just needs to be patient here. There's no reason to rush it. He's got much better pace. He's got a couple of laps to get the move done. I suppose the only thing is he can see Nicholas Schatz pulling away from him in front, but he shouldn't be impatient, but he's close enough here to have a go into Mulsanne. It's a late lunge, isn't it? Getting alongside is one thing, getting it stopped is the crucial element, isn't it? And he just avoids the gravel trap. Yeah, so good move there, and he's got a good exit as well, so I don't think Keeler's going to be able to get the draft on him and pass him back. We've got a slow zone. Yeah, that's first Dunlop. Corner up to Dunlop from the, well, basically exiting the forward chicane all the way down the front straight. So these guys have got another couple of miles to get there. The leaders nose to tail. Tappy's very close. That's the closest we've seen him, Martin. And this is down to Arnage, so he's closed. You know, 10th here, a 10th there, a couple of 10ths there. And in fact, Duncan Tappy, fastest second sector of the lap, and they've just exited the second sector there. So that's a real, you know, he's just hauled himself up, hoovering along in the slipstream, and now he's perfectly placed. But he's got to do it. The team need to tell him it's yellow at the chicanes. You've got to do it before the Porsche curves, or wait, and he's not waiting. Oh, that's a big lunge down. Oh, they so nearly made contact there. Well done to Sean Rahal around the outside. And good, clean racing. Gave each other space, no contact. That could have ended in tears. But very, very good quality driving between both these guys there. And they're coming into the slow zone now, so they'll get a bit of a breather. But it's still green on the back straight. Yep. So Duncan Tappy, we're into the slow zone now, into the forward chicanes. But when they get onto that back straight, mind you, they seem to be going quite quickly for a slow zone, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Right, it should be here as they come past our window. It starts at the line. Oh, and Duncan Tappy was pushing it for every millimetre. You have, from the previous marshal's post, to slow down in, but when you get to that line at the start of the slow zone, if you're doing 81 kilometres an hour, it's a penalty. If you're doing 80, you're good. We haven't actually seen why we have a slow zone, have we? Like, we haven't actually seen it. Oh, here, we're back on cue. The number 23 car there, and just pirouetting around into the gravel, so that's another United Autosports car. That's Richard Mines and Sean Lynn's car. Sean Lynn in every race except the main race here. And the number 1 car gyrating as well. DKR's Norma, James Winslow and Dan Polly's car. Ooks. So who's in? I think Winslow started, yeah, it's Dan Polly. Yeah, so they're coming towards the end of the slow zone now.
Yeah.
It's about to go green. They have gone green as they come through the S's at the bottom of the hill and up towards Tet Rouge. So now Duncan Tappy, what are we looking at here, Martin? We're looking at 10 minutes 31 to go.
10.5 minutes, 4-minute lap. You can count, I can't.
Yeah, so I mean we're two and a half laps, aren't we? But
so they won't. So it'll be this one plus one, and then they'll start the last one before the time runs out.
Yeah. So we're on the back straight, so we're 2.5 to go. Tappy's again in the slipstream. We got double yellow further around the lap at a Porsche curve. So somebody's had an off at the Porsche curves. We'll see in a second. But the battle for the lead still well and truly on through the first chicane. The yellow's been cleared, so that's good news. So we should have a nice clean race here. Tappy's in the slipstream. Look there, but even further back.
Battle for third behind us as well. So that's the DB Autosport, Nicholas Schatz and Lawrence Hogenboom closing on him. This is down this is why the double yellows are out. The number 4 car goes around. That's the Brooks International car. John Sharman and in Nicholas Ronde. That was a Code Brown moment for someone, wasn't it? Crikey. So there's the lead battle, and the battle for third is a chicane behind, but about as close as this is, isn't it?
He's gone in deep. Sean Rahal's gone in a bit deep, and Tappy's going to get a run on him here, coming out towards Mulsanne. So Rahal needed a good exit, but he went in there a bit too hard, and that would have compromised his run out. He's defending the inside, so he's going to force Tappy to go left as they come over the crest towards Mulsanne corner, and this should be okay for Rahal unless... Oh,
Tappy's going a long way down the outside. Rahal had the inside line, but Tappy was being brave, and he goes through for the lead, and there is traffic. We saw that car in the bottom of the screen. That's the Win Motorsport car, and that is in 49th place. But Duncan Tappy, that was big cojones.
Yeah, no, good move, but Rahal gave it up too easily. I think Rahal backed out of it. He had track position there on the inside, and he could have forced Duncan out wide. So I think Rahal, when he watches the replay after the race, he'll be disappointed with himself, I think, to give that up too easily.
Kicking himself. Well, Duncan Tappy is our race leader. Now we get a chance to go back to the battle for third, which at the last split was still 0.29 of a second apart. So Landon Racing's number 25 car leads. This is a battle for third. No, it's not. This is further back. Number 20 car is where down the order? This is the battle for 7th, 8th and 9th. So Nicola Maulini in 20. Behind him is the number 9 Cool Racing entry, and that is Scott Andrews, the Aussie. Behind him, the number 5 car, and that is the Speed Factory International car. And the second driver in that is Marcello Marattiotto. I have trouble with that every single time. Marcello.
You did a lot better than I would.
Yeah. In fact, it's not, because he did the first in, so it's the even harder to pronounce co-driver, Timur Boga. No. That's battle for third place. Nicholas Schatz and Lawrence Hogenboom. Where's that? Nicholas Schatz still just holding off the number 3 DKR engineering car. And again, more traffic.
Have to.
And Duncan Tappy is going to have to try and have a lunge up the inside of the slower car. Oh, he's going to lose ground. Doesn't want to lose ground. He gets through.
It's going to hurt Rahal, isn't it? Yeah, look at that. Tappy's got through before the chicane. That was a good move and crucial move for Tappy. Yeah. And he's broken away a few car lengths there. This is compromised Rahal through the Dunlop chicane.
Oh, that's Sean Lynn, who spun in the Porsche curves earlier on. That's why he's so far behind.
Yeah, he got beached in the gravel, didn't he, up at Dunlop, and he's clear. He's got out of it. So he's driving along, but he's not in contention for points or anything. What's happening further back there, Martin? Because Schatz and Hogenboom were only separated by 3/10 across the line. That is Hogenboom.
It's Lawrence Hogenboom.
Wow.
That's the championship leader. Wow, got away with that.
I tell you, you do not want to put a wheel off there, because the wall is so close on the left-hand side. You know, you don't normally want to use that curb on the left either. It's a negative camber curb, actually. So if you get the left wheels on there, it pulls you out towards the barrier. You sort of want to just get to the white line and you go, yeah, okay, that's enough. And then you get the car settled for Tet Rouge, and bit of contact there into the last chicane. Is that... Ooh,
wee bit of argy-bargy. That's the 9 Cool Racing car. Now, actually, that car has just been handed a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane, as is the number 24 Cool Racing car.
They're not having a good day, are they?
They're really not, are they? 2 CD cars also got drive-throughs. Car number 45, team manager was dragged to the steward's office. So SPV Racing also a drive-through, and that's for causing a collision. So lots of speeding penalties handed out. Well, there's the difference between Duncan Tappy and Sean Rahal now, first to second. This time, last lap, Tappy was right under the rear wing of Rahal, so the Lannon Racing car definitely with more speed than the United Autosport machine.
Yeah, I think they're running less downforce on that Lannon Racing car, because he, despite being in front, he's 3K faster in the speed trap. So to me, that's a clear sign that they've gone for straight line speed to overtake, which he successfully did. The compromise, of course, is that Duncan would have had to hang on in the corners, and obviously it's not just Duncan, because he's driving the car second. Michael Panham was in the car before him, so they've done a good job to get themselves in front and break the slipstream, and it's a good battle here.
Well, you can look at the wings on all these cars. They're almost, normally a wing is low at the front and high at the back. The rear wing is almost lower at the rear than it is at the front. It's almost Thruxton Formula 3 wing. You know, you want to take all the elements out, it totally almost, because everything here is dependent on being fast down the straight, particularly when the cars are so even.
Yeah, but you've still got to be quick through the Porsche curves, and the downforce makes a big difference to braking as well. That number 40 car is really struggling now, isn't it? Keeler's struggling. He's lost another place there.
But Scott Andrews in the number 9 car has a drive-through penalty to serve. So actually, Adrian Keeler goes, yeah, whatever. Team say, let him go. Don't fight him. He's coming into the pits. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Speeding in the pit lane, 5-second penalty being handed to the number 69 car. Well, he's not in our lead group anyway, so their day's gone from bad to worse.
No, but he is fourth, in the GT race.
Yes.
So that's going to cost him points, isn't it? Because he's going to drop a couple of places there.
He will, 9 seconds, or he'll be behind Ollie Hancock's Kessel Racing car, will he?
No, it's only a 5-second penalty, wasn't it? So he's going to...
Yes. 5 seconds.
But so stop and go, so he's going to lose a minute.
Right, so he'll be out the back, So Ollie Hancock will move up to 4th. Brother Sam Hancock is working in the pit lane for one of the broadcasters here. So I don't know whether he gets to go and do a post-race interview with him.
That would be funny.
Yeah, so how's it feel not being on the podium, bro? Harsh.
Yeah. Oh, there's a headlight missing. Look there, Martin. You see that number 20 car?
So now, did he have contact earlier on, the DB Autosport car of Nicola Molini?
The car coming into the pit.
Yeah,
so
that's
that
the drive-through.
The drive-through,
So that's the first of our drive-through penalties. And the number 9 car will come in as well to serve his drive-through. So both Cool Racing cars, number 9, that's 24 has come in. So 9 hasn't. 9 continues on to the last lap. Oh dear, that might be an error.
And he's done the fastest lap as well. He's done a 39.4.
He can't come in to serve his drive-through as the checkered flag comes out, can he?
No.
I think that might be a major mistake.
No, I mean, Michael Schumacher did that back in '98 at Silverstone, and I think the rule across the board in all categories got changed, didn't it? Because
fool us once, shame on you. Fool us twice, shame on us. Exactly right. Now here's the battle for position, and this is for 3rd in the GT3 race. Spirit of Race Ferrari being attacked by the 69 Steeler F Squadra car. And Forgione goes by in the 69 car, so that moves them onto the podium. There's been a long catch by Gino Forgione, just manages to squeeze in front of the 54 car. Spirit of Race Ferrari, that was Louis Soninen and Frederick Verbisch who started that, who was leading early on, wasn't he?
Yeah. So up at the front, Rahal's taken a little bit of time out of Tappy in the first sector on this final lap. He's now 4 tenths behind him. Sorry, he's taken 4 tenths out. He's now 7 tenths behind him as they're heading down the straight towards Mulsanne. We're watching the Kessel Racing Ferrari here. Puccini in 2nd place in the GT class, so he's having a good day, unlike his teammate, unfortunately, got into that tangle on the opening lap.
And in fact, Andrea Puccini is now on the first page of the timing screen. He's now up to 29th from 33rd, where he was when we reported last on him. Still in 2nd in the class, and here is our battle with the Lannon Racing number 25 car.
So he's got one or two last chances here, hasn't he? So has Sean Rahal, as they head down towards Indianapolis. He's too far behind to have a go here. If he has a great run through Indianapolis and Arnage, he could maybe have a go into the Porsche curves, but
could be a last corner sort out, couldn't it?
He's got to be closer, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's too far behind. You know, we're looking at probably what, 5 car lengths there.
Yeah.
He's got to be really just underneath the diffuser of that Duncan Tappy Lannon racing car if he's going to have a go.
The camera foreshortening kind of made it look like he was a little closer, I think. I was wondering, maybe he's just giving it a lap for the tyres to cool down a little bit and, you know, gird his loins for the final hurrah, but I'm not sure he's close enough. I'm pretty sure that Tappy feels he's got him at arm's reach.
Yeah, I think it's Tappy's had actually a better run through Indianapolis and Arnage, and he's got a better run now. So it's looking good for Duncan Tappy and Lannon Racing, isn't it? Maybe
that little tyre pressure adjustment at the pit stop has given him a fraction more grip. The United Autosports car looks a little bit more twitchy. The Lannon Racing car, started by Michael Benham, and the number 25 car was in 6th place on the grid. Benham avoided the first corner carnage, handed over, no dramas in the pit stop, no speeding, no penalties. So it will be victory at Le Mans for Lannon Racing, the number 25 car. And Duncan Tappy and Michael Benham will win here, the 2nd race in the Road to Le Mans weekend. Victory at Le Mans. He will get to stand on the top step of the Le Mans podium. For Duncan Tappy, that'll be the first time in his career. Sean Rahal and teammate John Falp. Think Michael Benham's happy with that? Win at Le Mans? Yeah, just a bit. There's the team. Very happy with that. That was a well-run race by them. They avoided the dramas, and they were clean and quick. Sean Rahal, John Falp 2nd, and Nicholas Schatz in 3rd place. Ended up almost 2 seconds ahead of Lawrence Hogenboom. I think the DK Engineering car had a clatter early on. Maybe he just thought that discretion was the better part of valour. Here's our GT3 leader, Maurizio Mediani, will come to the line in a 51 Spirit of Race Ferrari. Started by Christoph Ulrich. And Mediani, a real GT racing veteran for Ferrari. Such a safe. Oh, had to look in the background. Massive late lunge from the 39 car. That's Ajin Thuy jumping ahead of Adrian Cummings to go to 15th or 14th in class out of the Porsche curves. That was the latest of late lunges I think I've seen since the end of the GTE race last year at Le Mans.
Yeah, Mediani, the winner here, the GT3 class. He is 55 seconds ahead of the Kessel Racing car, so a dominant performance. I have to say, aided slightly by the fact that his 2 big rivals got taken out on the opening lap, and that just opened up the door for them. But yeah, as you say, the number 39 Graf car, that's the most ambitious lunge for a 15th place I think I've ever seen.
Yes. From 15th place, yes, you're right. For the podium, it would have been ambitious. Hey, racing's racing. You know, wherever you are down the field, you're racing at Le Mans, and I'm sure quite a few of the incidents might not have happened if we were at Spa or Silverstone or something. You know, Le Mans is a whole different thing. Mind you, there are a lot more overtaking opportunities here for these cars than elsewhere. 2nd for Kessel Racing's number 77 car. 3rd place, no, 4th, no, that's the 77 car in 2nd place, and 3rd place will be Stila F Squadra Corsa. So down in the pit lane, Louise Beckett, and we will wait for her to chat to our winner. So Duncan Tappy brings the car to the flag. Louise is down with Lannon Racing.
Well, that was certainly some celebration there, Michael.
It was just a matter of time, wasn't it, until Duncan took him?
I didn't quite see it that way, I'll be honest. He's a fabulously talented driver, and if anybody was going to bring it home, he was. But that doesn't stop me from being concerned and worrying everything. I thought he'd gone wide out of on push, on karting, or whatever on the last lap. I couldn't even see straight, I'll be honest. So.
This has really turned your bad luck so far this season around, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, I suppose so. I mean, we've had more than our fair share of bad luck the first couple of rounds for sure. Dunk's always sort of had faith that we had the pace as a crew, and I guess today finally we can believe that that's the case. So obviously with the team behind us, it makes it a little sweeter.
25's won at Le Mans.
Yeah, I know. Unbelievable. I don't think I'll get bored of saying it, I'll be honest. I don't think I'll get bored of saying it.
You have every right to. Go and celebrate with your team. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Luis. Congratulations to Michael Benham. You could see what it means to have those words. We always say, Karun, in Formula One, you want to win your home Grand Prix, you want to win Monaco. Obviously, the World Championship goes without saying, but those are the races, aren't they? But to win a race at Le Mans, honestly, probably doesn't really matter what else happens in their season. They're going to stand up there with the grandstands, a sea of people on the podium at Le Mans.
Yeah, and you can see Duncan's clearly happy with his day's work, and he should be, because he drove very well there to come back from, you know, and when he came out of the pits, you know, let's not forget that CD racing car made a mistake by not pitting, but then when he came out of front, it all worked out, and he made that great move around the outside of Mulsanne to take the win there.
Well, it was carnage at the first corner, as we pretty much expected. It took out our winner and second place car from Thursday's first race. All clean up to the Dunlop chicane, and then two Graf Racing cars making contact. The 39 car of Eric Trier spun around. The 11 Euro International car never rejoined. 8, the Kessel Racing Ferrari that won in GT3, caught out under braking. Contact with the 71 car that was second in GT3. So the two top protagonists in GT3 and LMP3 were eliminated from the race right at the very beginning. Colin Noble in the 79 car making a mistake. Fortunately for the number 3 DKR engineering team that leads the championship, they did not suffer enough damage to put them out of the race. Mathieu Lahaye's father, Jean-Baptiste, was going great guns in his stint in the number 19 Ultimate car. From 12th on the grid, fought his way up into a podium spot before the pit stops. Battle in the GTE class. Post pit stops, number 77 Kessel Racing Ferrari of Andrea Puccini, working his way up the order, getting in front of the Spirit of Race car, and then moving up into second place. A few moments of drama as drivers exceeded their own expectations of those the track limit. And unfortunately, in the Porsche curves, when you're fully committed, that can be a bit of a worry. The pass for the lead in the end. Duncan Tappy perhaps at the least likely place on the Mulsanne straight, around the outside into Mulsanne corner, grabbing the lead from Sean Rahal with 3.5 laps to go. Slow traffic just in the right place for both of them to get through it. And then Tappy managed to keep his nose in front, going by one of the delayed cars as well. GTE race being led by the 51 Spirit of Race Ferrari. And Maurizio Mediani taking its line after Christoph Ulrich started it well, but Lannon Racing victorious outright and in LMP3, turning around, they hope, their tough season with the 51 Spirit of Race Ferrari winning in GT3. And Karun, after a slightly less chaotic start than race 1, lots of good close racing.
Yeah, it's been really good, and I think the fans here on the grandstand would have enjoyed that, because we had a good battle for the lead, didn't we? Had 4 cars up in it, up at the front after the pit stop, and yeah, plenty of action. People fighting all the way through the field, really. And the slipstream effect here in the races makes it fascinating.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah, and Mediani there, across the line, 55 seconds ahead of second place.
Well, let's hear from our GTE winners down at the 51 Ferrari team.
The Spirit of Race take the GT podium here at Le Mans. Christoph, how does that sound?
Oh, amazing. Not in my wildest dreams, to be honest. Yesterday we had a bit of unlucky. Today we were lucky due to the crash in the beginning, so we gained some positions, but sometimes you are on this side and then the next race you can be on the other side. So I think that story is just written here in Le Mans. My teammates, Giorgi, Berazzini, they won the race yesterday. Today they couldn't finish because of the crash. We struggled yesterday. Today we win. Unbelievable, unbelievable.
How is it to race and drive at this historic circuit?
The best thing in the world. As simple as that. It's my absolute favorite track. I came here a couple of years ago, the first time as a spectator. After that, I bought a race car. I started to train a bit, and here I am, and it's just unbelievable. The atmosphere, the track, the organization, everything is unique and the best event in the world.
I can beat the best thing in the world, because that's standing on the podium here at Le Mans.
For sure, yes. I mean, that's the top of it, and it's unbelievable. I raced here first time last year. We had a P3 in the first race. And when I came back, or when I started this year, it was always about Le Mans. That's for sure. We have a championship, and it's important getting points, but it's all or nothing here.
Well done. Enjoy.
Thank you, I will.
That's a great story from Christoph Ulrich. Came here as a fan and then decided, I've got to do this. I've got to buy a racing car. There's another Ulrich that did that. Wolfgang Ulrich came down on a boys' holiday with some guys from Audi UK, and midway through Sunday morning turned to them and went, we have got to do this. And that's where the Audi domination of Le Mans started, as a race weekend away. And you know, you come to this, everybody knows it, everybody knows Indy 500, Monaco Grand Prix, but knowing about it and even watching it on TV and coming here and being here, Karun, whether you're a driver, a fan or whatever else, it's so all enveloping, this place. You can, there's 250,000 people. I think almost every one of them would go, oh God, yeah, if I could race anywhere, this would be one of the top 3 in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't appreciate it until I came here for the first time to race in it. You know, I'd never come here as a fan. I'd watched it on TV, but I'd never come here until I raced it in 2012. And till you actually do the Saturday, Sunday as well, you just can't appreciate what an important and big and special event this is. It is magical. There's something about this place that draws you back in. Whether you're a driver or a commentator or a fan or a mechanic or an engineer, whatever, that there is something about Le Mans, you know, in between the highs and the lows, because there are a lot of lows. You know, there's everyone's had some terrible years here at Le Mans, but it's just a magical place that, yeah, it's very addictive.
It is. It absolutely is. Well, you can see the highlights of the race. We're waiting for our top 3 from each of the classes to get themselves out of the cars and up to the podium. And after Thursday's first encounter, really tough weekend for the number 2 Ecuria Kos car. And in fact, Ecuria Kos boss Hugh McKegg's son, Alistair, also having trouble in his car. So they've had a tough weekend, and that's cost them dear in the championship. 2 races and no points for the 2 car. There's the 79 car. Alistair didn't even get to start it. Colin Noble making that mistake with the number 3 car and the DKR engineering machine, number 3, that was hit. Luckily, they finished the race. They finished in 4th place. So Jens Pedersen and Lawrence Hogenboom managed to keep their championship lead, scoring in both races here, looking nice and healthy. I think we're going to see some big changes in the LMP3 points for the rest, or going in from Le Mans to the rest of the Michelin Le Mans Cup season. Well, we saw in qualifying a whole host of decorated stars and winners in multiple fields, including here at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, dropping wheels off and spinning furiously and having accidents. So it's not just that these guys are less experienced and a bit more excitable, because even the seasoned pros have had plenty of trouble this week. One of the things about this track, Karun, is that it has such high average speed. There are no low speed mistakes, are there?
No, there really aren't. And you know, when you're in the prototypes, you know, the straight line speed is, you know, well over 150 mile an hour. You know, you're sort of 292 through the speed trap, so just under 300k, even in the P3 cars. And actually, interestingly, the GT cars, despite being bigger and higher drag, because they got power, are pretty much the same speed. So they're all, you know, they're pushing on. And
292 is like 175 or something, isn't it? So yeah, definitely not hanging around. It was an entertaining start to the race with 50 cars in the field, and the deal with the LMP3 cars is, as you say, you know, they all have the same engine, the same tyre. You can buy them from one of a number of different manufacturers, but they are essentially, this is a 42 car one make field almost. I mean, it's so close to racing. And in the GTs, unfortunately for the top two yesterday, that mistake by the number 8 Kessel Racing Ferrari, the blue and purple car, cost them and the innocent victims in number 71. And that's all part of this race, isn't it? Somehow not getting tangled in somebody else's accident.
Yeah, and that's why you can do everything right, but you need a dollop of luck as well. You know, this isn't a race where you're racing against Le Mans as much as you're racing against the competitors, because you know this place can throw up all sorts of things at you. You know, one year, you know, we got caught in a rainstorm and 8 of us crashed under safety car because we were just aquaplaning. We had no steering, nothing. There was, you know, Nicolas Lapierre with a Toyota, myself, there's all of us. We just went sailing like a boat. I was only doing 60 kilometers an hour on the safety car, and we're all off in the barriers. And that's just Le Mans. You get caught in a rainstorm, and there's nothing you can do sometimes.
Well, sometimes you have to just put yourself in an uncomfortable position, and that's exactly what Duncan Tappy did in the number 25 Lannon racing car. Went the long way around the outside. He had judged it perfectly, and Sean Rahal, once he'd conceded the outside line and covered off the inside, which is what Tappy clearly was engineering, he had nowhere to go. The exit of the corner was covered off, and that was the key to the win for Duncan Tappy and the number 25 car. It was started by Michael Benham. So Sean Rahal and John Falk won one of the 2 races here last year. They're on the podium again. We could see clearly the tears of joy for Michael Benham in the interview with Louise. And for Christoph Ulrich there and Maurizio Mediani, a GT3 win just as welcome. Well, there's a view on one of the most famous pit lanes in the world. Lannon Racing claiming victory from United Autosports. DB in 3rd, DKR Engineering's number 3 car, critical points in 4th place. None of their real regular rivals scoring that strongly. Euro International's number 11 car nudged off in the first corner, ended up in 6th position. That is a masterful recovery. And the early race leader, the number 30 CD Sport car, finishing only in 10th place. They stayed out when there was a slow zone down the Mulsanne Straight, the fastest part of the circuit, and that cost them a chance to win it. Other incidents and accidents saw a lot of our expected front runners way down the order, but then in a field of more than 40 near identical cars, there's always going to be a lot of jockeying for position. The GT3 win went to the Spirit of Race Ferrari, Kessel Racing's Ferrari in 2nd place, and the 3rd spot in the end went to Ollie Hancock in the number 50 Kessel Racing Ferrari. So he's 3rd in GT, so brother Sam will be able to go down and have a chat to him about finishing on the podium. The Spirit of Race Ferrari dropping down the order on the last lap. We didn't see the pass from the Kessel Racing car. Ollie Hancock getting himself onto the podium behind his teammates. So a clean sweep of the top 4 from Ferraris. The best of the Porsches was the Ebby Motors car, number 88, in 5th position. So top 2 from yesterday's race. The number 8 Kessel Racing Ferrari and the 71 AF Corsa Ferrari. That incident between the 2 of them costing them both a chance to score points here, and that will definitely also have an effect, because 71 won yesterday, 8 was 2nd. 3rd place yesterday was the 77 car. They're 2nd this time, Claudio Schiavone and Andrea Puccini. There's Bruno von der Steek in the blue shirt and the body warmer, the man who is the speaker here at Le Mans.
And our morning alarm as well, isn't he?
7 in the morning. He just gets on the tannoy and says, hey, it's 7 in the morning, and then doesn't say anything else until 8:30 when they're building up to morning warm-up. But he commentates on every minute of on-track action here throughout the entire week, including 36 hours pretty much from start to finish today through to about 6 p.m. tomorrow, 4 p.m. tomorrow evening.
Yeah, I think he also commentates on everything off-track. I feel like he commentates all through the autograph sessions as well.
Yes,
like, even when nothing's happening on track, he's talking. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So now, change at the top of the points. Giacomo Puccini and Sergio Pianazzola, after the 2 races here, are our points leaders in GT3. Christoph Ulrich and Maurizio Mediani with victory here move up to 2nd. Marco Ciocci, Pier Giuseppe Perezzini push down to 3rd position. John Hartshorn and Ollie Hancock in with a bullet, 6th in the standings after their podium finish here today. So Kessel Racing as a team 11 points now ahead of Spirit of Race, with their number 8 car still holding the team's advantage. AF Corsa's 71 car ahead of Kessel Racing 77. And in the LMP3 category, I think we're going to see a huge advantage for the DKR engineering team and their number 3 car, scoring strongly in both races here. What's going to be interesting is who is now their, I was going to say closest rival, probably more accurately, their least distant rivals, because the DKR engineering car has gone a long way forward in the points. This is only the 3rd race weekend of half a dozen, but double races here, and points in both of them. Christoph Ulrich and Maurizio Mediani. 3rd place, I beg your pardon, the winners on the podium will be the top step of the GT3 team. But coming out first are our LMP3 cars. So United Autosport guys, Sean Rahal and John Falbin second. And there, the Lannon Racing duo, Duncan Tappy on the right of your shot, and on the left, Michael Benham. So those are the winners from our LMP3 class in the Road to Le Mans.